Hello and welcome to Make Some Noise. I am Jason J. Rock Houston, and this is episode number 18. And our special guest is a good longtime friend of mine, Patrick Flannery, known as Prophet, of course, the lead singer from the band, as you can see, Saint Madness, straight out of Arizona. You've been in the music business since I believe 1978. That's quite a number of years going back, huh?
Yeah, well, I was in high school in 1978, and my favorite sports are boxing and soccer, and I played soccer for many years because I lived in Holland when I was a boy. So I wanted to be a professional soccer player. But I joined choir in high school, and a guy sitting next to me who didn't particularly care for me, he went and told the choir director, "You need to listen to Pat sing because he sounds like Elvis." Because I had been going home at night and singing to Elvis records because he had just died and it was huge in the news. And so I bought every record I could find on the man and would sit in my room and sing. So I guess when I was singing in choir, it was coming out. So during the middle of choir one day, the choir director says to me, "Homer," he never called me Patrick. He always called me Homer. I was kind of a class clown a bit. And he said, "Come down here." And we had a large choir. And he said, "Do you know the song Blue Christmas?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I'm going to play it. Start singing." I had never sang in front of anybody outside my bedroom, right?
Wow.
Alone, solo. So he started playing the song and I started singing and he stopped and he said, "See me after class." And after class, the first thing he said was Patrick. And I caught it because he had always called me Homer. He said, "Patrick, do you know you sound just like Elvis Presley? Would you consider, we have a Christmas concert coming up. Would you do a duet with one of the girls? We do White or Blue Christmas and we'll see how it goes." And I thought, I don't got nothing to lose. I've never done it before, so whatever. And that night I started signing my first autographs. And he came back to me and said, "Now in the spring, we have a spring concert." This is Altaloma High School in basically Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Wow. I know where that, yeah.
Yeah, and Donald Bowers said, "For the spring concert, would you cut your hair a little bit, dress up like Elvis, and we'll have some of the girls in the choir go crazy while you sing?" And I thought, yeah, that's great. I'll do it. So I did it. Instantly, my name changed at high school. Everybody started calling me Elvis and not Patrick anymore, right? And at first, it was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And after a while, I thought, there's already been an Elvis. And if you want to be in music, you got to come up with your own shit and, your own style, everything.
Yeah, I was going to ask that because I was going to say, you could have gone one of two ways. You could have become like, a real authentic Elvis impersonator, or you could have done like you did and do your own thing.
Yeah. And I probably would have made more money doing the Elvis impersonations, but for me, I just wanted to be an artist and write my own songs. And
And you really are a true artist in that sense because as you sit here telling me that story, so you're not even a guy that initially had any thoughts of being a performer or a singer. You kind of got your encouragement from other people, and you experience it, and you're like, yeah, this seems like it'd be something kind of fun.
tell you what else kind of encouraged me to be fair, Jason. I instantly was getting laid. I
Well,
mean,
there you go. Well, that's why you get into it.
myself, all those years of sports never got me laid before. But you get up there and you sing and you get girlfriends just like that. And
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah,
I could do this.
yeah. That's to be honest, that's most guys' motivations for getting in a band. And if you're going to be a singer too, I think Elvis is a great influence because for a simple fact that a lot of people, they think of Elvis as a king of rock and roll, but he goes all the way back to the 50s. And he's done everything from gospel and, every type of music you could even imagine.
Rockabilly, country, blues, the guy did it all. Another singer that I followed in the footsteps of was Tom Jones, believe it or not, because he was so powerful. Like his voice was just amazing. Him and Ronnie James Dio are kind of similar to me in a way in that their power, you
Yeah.
know. So I learned to sing listening to Elvis and Tom Jones primarily. And then I don't know what happened. I went straight from that to Kiss and straight from that to Judas Priest and then heavier and heavier as it went.
Well, in fact, staying on the Elvis train for just a little bit, um, didn't Saint Madness cover an Elvis song?
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And for years, we had a character on stage called Howard Presley. And
Okay.
Howard Presley, he was like the third cousin of Elvis, and what we'd call him. And he'd come out in the jumpsuit and everything and do kicks. He didn't sing anything,
Okay.
but you in the beginning it started with us doing a song we wrote called Evil Elvis, and that
Okay.
was our song. And then when we recorded Can't Help Falling in Love with You, we made it a little more punk or a little more,
Yeah.
faster. um, Howard would come out and do his bit to that. And unfortunately, Howard passed away a few years ago.
Oh, okay. I was
But
going to ask. Yeah.
yeah, and he was with us since 1996. I mean, everybody loved Howard,
And
And
it's interesting. You were saying your nickname at the time was Homer. That's years before Homer Simpson was even a thing. So that's kind of interesting. Um,
right,
yeah.
yeah, my choir director didn't really like me. Like I said back then, growing up, my family moved every 1 to 3 years. And I mean, they were big moves from California to two islands in Hawaii, from Hawaii to Holland in
Yeah.
Europe, from Holland to Kansas. Can you imagine? You just get
I
acclimated.
really can't imagine. What took you all around the world? Was your father in the military or anything?
No, he was in dairy business. His father, my opa in Holland, owned a dairy,
Oh,
and he
wow.
worked in the dairy business. And a lot of companies will ship you all over the place, and they pay for your move and everything. So we always had a pretty good life. And but we traveled so much that I think it made me able to adapt to anywhere I go in a
Mhm.
way that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
And
And
maybe
it's
it gave you that for when the band started, gigging and doing playing out. You have the ability, to go from town to town and maybe not be so homesick.
exactly. And I mean, we used to own a grocery store in a town called Sparta, Missouri. My family owned a place called the People's Market just for a few years, but it was Sparta, Missouri. At the time, which was the mid 80s, it had to be like population 1,500 maybe.
Wow.
And when I first started working there, I had long hair, and so nobody would talk to me for about a month because I looked like a city boy.
Yeah.
And after about a month, I learned everything about everybody in that town, man. It was
Wow.
like everybody knew what was going on, and they made me part of it. They accepted me. Um, so I've learned to adapt from everything from people who live with absolutely nothing to very wealthy people. My brother runs a Butler Academy in Holland
Oh,
in an
wow.
old monastery, and it's something like 150,000 square feet. It's a year. I know that monks live there for 100 years.
Oh, wow.
It's huge. It's huge, and it's a Butler Academy where people go to learn to be butlers for the wealthy.
I never
And
knew
he,
there was such a thing. Wow. You went
yeah,
to
right.
school.
I've been back 3 times since 2012, and whenever I go there, I'm treated like a king
Oh,
because
wow. So you're like a local hero. Now, have you ever, is Saint Madness ever played in Holland or anything like that?
we've never played outside of the USA. No.
Now, I know, of course, you're from Arizona, for several years now. You guys like local heroes there?
Well, we're one of three artists in heavy music that is still around for more than 30 years.
Wow, wow.
So there's us, and there's a band called Pelvic Meatloaf, which,
Okay.
if you ever get a chance, you should interview Rich from Pelvic Meatloaf because you'll have a hell of a time with him because he is just so funny.
Yeah, I'll have you maybe put me in touch with them. I'd love that.
Yeah, you'll thoroughly enjoy it, I promise you. And the other artist is a gentleman named Scott Rowe who used to imitate Alice Cooper.
Oh, yes, I know. I interviewed him before. Cool guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been around about as long as we have. And Pelvic Meatloaf has been around 2 years longer than
Yeah,
we
and
have.
it's amazing. A guy like Scott Rowe could be so successful at doing the Alice
Alice
Cooper thing.
Cooper.
Yeah.
He was doing that when nobody was doing it,
Yeah.
and like around Phoenix and everything, there were really very few uh, cover artists who actually got into the characters of
Yeah.
the people. And Scott Rowe resembles Alice Cooper a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, he was instantly known by everybody.
Yeah. I know even Alice endorsed him and was aware of what he was doing. Now,
Yeah.
you talked a little bit about being influenced by Kiss, and if anybody was a senior band or pictures, You guys, I know, are known for wearing the makeup. Do you still do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's what's funny. I was a Kiss fan the very second I heard the Kiss Alive album. And I was in a class in Missouri. I was a kid and it was a music class, and every week the teacher would pull out an album and we would discuss the album. We'd read the liner notes and everything. Imagine that. I was like fifth grade, so
Wow.
it
Yeah.
was 75, so I was 13 actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're high. So he brought out Kiss Alive one day and played it while we were going through it. And I just thought, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But I never ever pictured myself being a face paint guy and all that. I did do Elvis, but I didn't have to paint myself
Yeah. Yeah.
up or anything like that. And for most of my life, I was just a regular wear whatever when you go on stage and be yourself 100%. And in 1995, grunge music had gotten really, really popular here in Arizona.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was kicking out like all through the 80s and early 90s. Metal was king here. I mean, it was a mecca for metal bands. And all of a sudden it was dying off. And so Marge and I were out shopping one day, and Marge is our manager, and we've been together 31 years.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
we were out shopping one day, and I looked at her and I said, we have this live and kicking show coming up for Music Voice magazine, and I'm going to paint my face at this next show. And if the band doesn't want to do it, I'm totally cool, but I'm going to do it. So I just feel like I need a change. I need something. We need something to make us stand out like a sore thumb in the music community.
I love that prop because where Kiss they took off the makeup, you're putting it on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was 1995,
Yeah.
so even Kiss hadn't reunited and put the makeup back on.
That's
So
just when they were getting together for Unplugged. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there
Yeah.
wasn't a ton of that going on even internationally. There were some bands, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It's way more now, like
Yeah.
with
Sure.
the black metal and all that shit. You have so many face paint people now. But back then here in Arizona, it was literally non-existent other than maybe Scott Rowe doing Alice Cooper.
And how did you feel the
So,
fans reacted to you doing that? I mean, was it
well,
something they?
yeah, I was getting to that. So when I went to rehearsal, I told him, I said, look, our next show, I'm painting my face. I don't care what you guys do, but I feel like I need a change. And my bass player, Randy Axe, looked at me and he said, well, if you do it, we better do it or we'll look stupid.
It'll stand out? Yeah.
And it's literally how it happened. And we went from being a Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday headlining act to headlining on weekends in every venue we ever wanted to play, just like that. We added a show, some blood, extra lights, more smoke, and we were playing the exact same music. But all of a sudden now we were headlining everywhere.
Give them
So
something more to talk about. And your band members are right because what would have happened if you were the only one getting made up? It would have been kind of like the Alice Cooper band where you only had one guy getting made up, and he's
yeah,
the one that stands out. Yeah.
or like King Diamond,
Yeah. Yeah.
King Diamond does it. But like when I think about Merciful Fate, I
Yeah.
don't only think King Diamond. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
the band in general is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
So
that's the difference. Now, so going from being known early on in your life as Homer, um, did you come up with the name Prophet, or somebody else come up with that?
So my aunt used to be married to a man named Simeon Profeta,
Okay.
and in English it's prophet.
Prophet.
So
Okay.
when she got her Jimmy truck, um, she got a personalized plate that said prophet. And my family owned a restaurant here in Scottsdale, Arizona, in the Scottsdale Airport in the terminal. It was called the Left Seat Restaurant from 1987 to 2000. So Judy, my aunt, came to work one day and I was working there. And I went outside for something and I looked at the back of her truck and it said Prophet. And it's like that just burned in my brain. I thought, how cool, right? So
Yeah.
when St. Madness decided, and really with Crown of Thorns, we were Crown of Thorns first for like
Oh,
four
okay.
years.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
then in 1997, there was a Christian band in New Jersey who actually trademarked the name Crown of Thorns. So
Okay.
the album we had out at the time was called The Spiritual Visions of Saint Madness. So we got a entertainment attorney and did a worldwide search to see if anybody owned Saint Madness, and
Yeah.
nobody did.
Yeah.
So in 1997, we trademarked it, right?
Hmm.
Anyway, when we were talking about we all need stage names, I thought, well, a band like Crown of Thorns or Saint Madness with a guy singing named Prophet is perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where my stage name came from. And Prophet is just a character.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just kind of was wondering about the name because, again, like you said, it's something that stands out. And now let's we told a little bit about the Saint Madness story so far to date, but you were sharing me before we went online tonight because we had a little bit of technical difficulties. We got everything worked out. That Saint Madness is currently working on some new music. So when can fans expect to hear something? Maybe.
It's going to be a little while, but we have like 5 songs already ready to record. And we'll probably do 5 to 7 more to make a complete album.
Yeah.
And in 2022 or 23, we were doing an album called Last Rites, The Final Blessing.
Okay.
And there's 6 songs from that online.
Okay.
Well, in May of 2024, our drummer suddenly passed away. And Evil T was our drummer for 7 years. I mean, we love that guy. We were
Wow.
family. He was just the most incredible drummer, and he could play several instruments.
Mhm.
He could write songs all on his own. I mean, he could
Oh,
have
wow.
made
See,
his
so
own
that
band.
has a major effect on the band. Yeah.
And so he had a brain aneurysm,
Oh,
and our bass player, who's still with us, Jayhawk, actually went and found him, and passed away.
oh, wow.
And
That's gotta be hard. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
he didn't show up for work, and his mom lives out of state, so she called Marge, and she said, "I can't,
Get a hold.
can't get through to Tim. He didn't show up at work today. That's not like him."
Yeah.
So she put it in our band chat, and Jayhawk said, "You know, I'm in the area of where he lives. I'll go check on him." And so he
Oh,
went and he found him, and it really took the wind out of our sails for a
oh,
while.
sure. I mean, and then for your poor bandmate that walked in on it. I mean, you could imagine how that's affected him.
Well, and if you listen to the drumming on that record, you'll understand why we were shell shocked from it, because he played so heavy, he hit so heavy, and he was so creative. You couldn't just replace a guy
Of
like
course,
that
of
with
course. I
anybody.
mean, yeah, that's what people
So
don't understand, especially about bands when a person dies. It's like like oh, wait, when your family member dies, you don't just go out and get a new family member.
no,
Yeah,
everybody has a certain spirit to the way they play music, and you can't duplicate that really. You can have people who are cover artists that get close and all that, but the people who come up with the shit are the
yeah.
ones that are the crazy artists. And so we were auditioning people for over a year, and nothing sounded right. And I kept saying to the band, the guy I really want is Sullen Graves, because he was our drummer from 2012, the end of 2012 to like 2014. And he had to leave the band because he had young kids at home,
Yeah.
and he needed to take care of his
Sure,
responsibility.
sure.
And I thought, there's no way in hell we're ever going to get him back. But after about a year or so of auditioning people and being unhappy, I sent him a message and I said, "Hey, are you ready to come back to the band or what?" It's kind of a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
And he came back, and he's
Wow.
he's with us. And the reason why I wanted him is because him and Evil T, out of all the drummers we've ever had, were both so heavy and powerful that I thought the only guy that could step in for Evil T is Sammy, right? Solon Graves. And
I
that's
was
why
just
we have
curious. Did
Solon Graves.
they know each other or?
No, Sullen knew of Evil T
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he followed the band the whole time.
yeah, yeah. Well,
But
that's great in
everybody,
a sense because I mean, who knows if you would have got a new drummer, if he would have been as good, or maybe there would have been that constant comparison. But you're with somebody that is an old family member, so to speak. He's been in the band. Don't
he, and
and
he's one of us, and instantly he was one of us. Like,
of course he knows the songs right away, so there's no having to
yeah.
learn the songs.
Now, if you listen to the Carner Metal album, Sammy recorded the opening track, "Drowning on Air."
Uh,
He recorded "Sweet Leaf," and he recorded "Blood, Guts, and Glory." So those 3 songs on Carner Metal are recorded by the gentleman we have now on drums.
Wow.
So you can listen to that and get a real idea of what kind of a drummer he is.
Eh,
Because, you know, we want to be one thing for sure, and
sure,
that's professional.
sure.
And you have to have like-minded individuals that also want to be professional. Because if you get people that are too into being a rock star, or
Yeah.
it just clashes, you know, what we want, number one, is to be respected by our peers for the music we write and the shows we put on.
Eh,
That's really
Yeah.
important, you
I
know.
mean, let's be
So
honest, Patrick. I've interviewed you probably a handful of times over the course of the last 17 years, and so St. Manus, like I said, especially in Arizona, you guys are pretty well known. You got a pretty good internet fan base. So, like you said, when there's a new St. Manus song or band's going to do a show, you want to be able to deliver the goods to your fans. And at this
that's
point, the
exactly right.
band's got a certain reputation, and you want to uphold that.
You know, and I recognize that all human beings have tough lives. I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
care if you're a billionaire or you're poor. Everyone has tough lives. So when people come to a St. Madness show, I don't give a shit who they vote for. I
Yeah,
don't give
yeah,
a shit whether they believe in God or they don't believe in God. I'm not there for that. My job, our job as a band, is to entertain those people because everyone has tough lives. And you know, if they take the time out to want to come to a St. Madness show, I want them to get more than their money's worth and I want them to have a good time. That's our
I'm
job.
with you. I'm with you there. I mean, everybody's got their own views, but I don't personally get into telling other people what to do or what I think. I mean, Gene Simmons recently gave an interview where the guy asked him, "Hey, Gene, who did you vote for?" He says, "You know what? Nobody gives an F who I vote for. I don't get into that kind of stuff." Yeah,
To me, that's exactly right.
yeah,
Um, but see, I'm an older guy,
yeah,
and when we were growing up, we didn't care about shit like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
In the metal community in the 80s and the 90s and so forth, people all voted and nobody stepped on each other over who they voted for.
yeah,
We were focused on music
yeah, yeah,
and the times and
yeah,
having a life.
yeah,
We're in America, people are fighting over politicians they don't even know. It's not like anybody I've ever voted for has come to
yeah,
my house
yeah,
for dinner,
yeah,
right? And the other thing I learned because I'm old, presidents change out every 4 to 8 years.
yeah.
So you can get really mad that the person you don't like is in there right now. Give it
Yeah.
a give it a very short period of time, they'll be out. And
Yeah,
maybe the
yeah,
one
and the final thing I'll say on the matter is, like I used to love watching like the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and Jay Leno back in the day because they would entertain you. And I even seen a clip recently where somebody asked Johnny Carson back in the day about, "Hey, why don't you ever give your political views?" He goes, "You know what? I'm here to make people laugh. I'm here to entertain." Now these
exactly
guys that have replaced Johnny Carson and all these other guys, they're getting all political. They're insulting half their audience. That's why they're not getting the ratings of a Johnny Carson.
it's you cut your following in half when you start picking sides like that.
Stupidest
And
thing I
what
ever.
you're really
Yeah,
getting to do
yeah,
is to give people a mental vacation from the bullshit in the world
sure,
of politics.
sure.
So when people go to a concert, I mean, if you got a little bit of it in there, that's fine because artists always, you know,
Yeah,
put their
yeah,
feelings out there. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to give the people in the audience a mental vacation from all that bullshit.
all their problems in the world. Yeah, I mean, when you go to a
People are
concert,
splitting
you
people are
want to be
splitting
rocked.
their families, friendships, their bands over who they vote for. Are you kidding me? I mean,
Yeah,
I get it. If a certain person's in there and you don't like it and you feel the economy is going bad, my life's harder. I get that, but it's not forever. They
yeah,
leave very
and here's and you to talk about having a tough life. Not that you've had a tough life, but you've been through some things. We don't have to get into, but like even just what you've discussed today about your band member, a drummer passing away, um, the guy that played Elvis passing away. I mean, you could get to a point, after losing so many band members, you're like, hey, this isn't any fun. I don't want to do this. But I think St. Madness, having the history you have, you're like, we do it in honor of him. We do it to carry on with the St. Madness story.
And you know what else it is? I don't know what normal people do with their feelings
Yeah,
because I make art out of it. If I hate the world,
yeah,
I write a song about hating the world and I don't have to hurt anybody.
yeah,
If I
yeah,
want to blow up the world, I write a song about blowing up the world and I get it out, those
yeah,
feelings. Other people stuff them and stuff them and stuff them, and maybe they come out with road rage or something,
yeah.
you know. But for me, it's very therapeutic to take all the shit that's inside me and create music with it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you're great at what you do, and I think you really are a natural artist. And the fact that you tell me early on in your life, you weren't really that interested in being a singer or anything, but other people encouraged you. Starting out in the choir, that's why you kind of sing the way you do. But and being inspired by everybody from Elvis, to Johnny Cash. I mean, and those other people you're mentioning today, you could see why you got the vocal ability that you do.
Yeah, I learned a lot just by listening, and mimicking certain things, and that's how when I was 16, I sounded a lot like Elvis. It's like I haven't even sang like Elvis since I was a teenager, so
Wow, wow.
um, I probably can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But it taught me so much. And the thing I loved about Elvis and a band called Black Oak, Arkansas, the
Oh,
lead
sure.
singer named Jim Dandy,
He's
right?
the original David Lee Roth. Yeah.
He's the original David Lee Roth for sure, and David admits that. And but both those guys, Elvis and Jim Dandy, treated the audience like we're all a musical family.
Yeah, yeah.
And we actually opened for Black Oak, Arkansas when they came to Phoenix in 1998.
Oh,
And back
wow.
then we had our own tour bus. And Jim Dandy came and got drunk on our tour bus. And I
Wow.
got to sit with this man for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and explain to him what he and his music meant to me
Yeah, yeah.
growing up.
Oh,
And
wow.
the
That
thing I
has to be
loved
great.
about him is he had no rock star attitude
Yeah.
whatsoever. Jim is a regular guy and he has manners and he says yes or no, no ma'am, and he just makes you feel good when you talk to him because he's a regular person. And a
Wow.
lot of people said that's what Elvis was. If you as flashy as the
Yeah.
clothes and all looked, if you just talk to the person, he
Oh, wow.
was down to earth and a good person. And I wanted to bring a little bit of that into the way I perform on
Wow.
stage to
Wow.
treat an audience the same way.
And then Patrick, you do have quite a story to tell. Would you ever have any interest in like writing a book on your life or even just your career?
I've had people ask me that over the years, and only reason I haven't done it is I don't really think anybody would read it, because it's not the big success story where you came from
Well,
nothing.
it's many peaks and valleys and ups and downs, but you're still here. That's the
Yeah,
ultimate story to me.
I mean,
And
there's definitely a story to tell for sure.
yeah,
And I'm one of these people like I saved literally everything.
yeah,
So
yeah. See,
I have all our interviews, all our old like merch and
sure.
articles done on the band. I saved everything, and I did that for everybody who's been a part of it as well, so that they would always have a place where they could get their history.
Yeah,
You
you'd be
know,
surprised.
you were-
At least the St. Manus fans, I think, would buy a book like that. You never know.
yeah,
And final question for tonight: Can you tell us a little bit about your mascot there? The,
this
the,
one here.
the yellow guy. The yellow guy.
Oh, that's Happy Evil.
Yeah, Happy Eagle.
And I created Happy Evil in God the mid '90s, and here's
Yeah,
the original one. Can you see?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's what I
oh,
was
yeah.
talking.
The original one is on my wrist,
Oh, cool, cool. That's cool.
but over the years, we got with this artist named Jeff West, and Jeff West is incredible, dude. He can do Disney like Disney, and he did 1,000 Star Wars cards for Tops, Tops cards.
Yeah.
And so I asked him if he could take our original logo, which is what I have on my arm, and make it a little bit more sinister.
Wow.
And he came up with that with the big teeth
And
and
you know what I love about that? That's your version of Iron Maiden's Eddie, if you know what I mean. I mean,
sure.
that's
Yeah,
a great,
we
great
did
image.
two actually. So one of them is Happy Evil. The other one is a character called Lester Thorns, who was based on me in the early days. Long black hair, a straight jacket, and a crown of thorns because we were crown of thorns back
Oh,
then.
cool, cool. Yeah.
We have a character of him come up on stage and do
Oh, that's
stuff.
cool. Well,
Those
Patrick,
are the
I really enjoyed catching up with you. It's been too long, so I promise we'll have you back and keep people up to date on what you're doing. But thanks for doing this, man.
Thank you. It's an honor and a great pleasure to be here with
Okay,
you.
I promise we'll keep in touch. So take care, my friend. I'll let you know when this goes up in 2 weeks. Okay.
All right, brother.
Take
Take care.
care. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.